Here we are again, guys, in the Monday. Oh, wrong livery. Hold on, I gotta fix it. I've started off so badly. Look, it says live with David Speaks Football. Bear with me. We will fix this ASAP. There we go. Corrected. Live and direct in the emotions room. Apologies for the bad start there. Oh my God. I mean, we've got so much to talk about, right? Manchester United, 3 wins on the bounce. I mean, I reckon I probably would have put my mortgage down that was not going to happen. Bruno potentially beating the assist record that De Bruyne and Henry has set. Possible or not, we'll go through that. Casemiro, Carragher basically apologizing to Casemiro and saying, remember when he said leave the football before the football leaves you. He's come out and said the football has not left Casemiro. And fair play, I like someone who puts their hands up and says, I got that wrong. But we're going to touch base on, should we trigger? I know it's been announced. I know it's been said by Casemiro that he's leaving. But should we trigger his contract extension? Apparently, he needs to play a certain amount of games. And that is triggered. And then we're also going to go over the fact that we have Spurs next. And they beat us 4 times last season. Talk about bogey teams. Spurs beat us 4 times last season. However, let's start with the Fulham game. I haven't really spoken to you properly about that game, Dan. How are you doing and how are you feeling about the Fulham game, mate?
Yeah, start off not too bad. It's always good when you've got a win and a good weekend, a good end to the weekend. How are you before we get into it?
I'm good. Yeah. A little bit of a rough start there when I've got the whole outlay or whatever you call this, the overlay wrong, but it's all right. I'm sure the viewers will understand that that was a minor, what's the word? False start. But yeah, other than that, I'm good, mate. Working away, you know what life's like, man. Flipping, trying to do this YouTube thing along with trying to work your normal job, pay the bills, do the housework. It's tough, I mean, listen, it always means something when you've got returning viewers like this coming in saying, evening, David, evening, Dan. You feel like you want to do this, right?
Yeah, it's a lift.
But sometimes you look at it and you think, oh my God, like, is this worth continuing? But I love doing it. Not to start on a negative one, but you asked me how I am. And sometimes just fitting this in and doing this YouTube thing, you do scratch your head sometimes and think, is it worth putting the effort and continuing doing it? But we both love chatting.
Of course it is. Carrick's at the wheel. Yeah. Come on. Lift your spirits, David. Carrick's at the wheel.
Exactly. And listen, we both love talking to each other. And I look forward to having this conversation with you. So that's all that matters, mate. So I'm good. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer to your question. But it is the emotions room.
Important to check in. To check in.
It is the emotions room. And, I have to get things off my chest sometimes. But yes, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Let's get going.
How did you feel after that Fulham game?
Yeah, again, I sort of dubbed it the sort of reality check game. And what I meant by it, and I said it in my own video, is that we've beat City before with numerous coaches.
Sorry, I just popped this. I'm just letting the viewers know it's not a beer. I'm not doing a Terry
sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I'm not doing a Terry Flewers that when Man United win, I get absolutely plastered on the next stream. Shout out Terry. Yeah, it's a Diet Coke, people. But yeah,
free plug.
Yeah, carry on.
But no, I dubbed it the reality check or the reality test, where we've beat City under numerous coaches. We've beat Arsenal before. It's not something that, as much as we've been battered at times by some of these teams, we can beat the bigger teams. We can get it up for the bigger teams. And that's not really the big test. As much as I thought we wouldn't have beat City or Arsenal, and definitely didn't think we'd beat Arsenal, it's not a massive shock because we have done it in the past. We have beat City in the past. We remember McTominay goals and stuff like that. So that wasn't the thing for me. The thing for me was playing one of the lower sides who you would expect might play a mid to low block. We might struggle to beat that mid to low block, and how we're going to score other than sort of scoring on the break or scoring as a counter-attack. And that was going to be my fear, really. And I think Fulham, well coached. Marco Silva, good coach. how we're going to fare against a team like that. And we're not, to be honest, because I was saying this in my video as well, is that even in the Fergie days, we didn't really batter Fulham to my memory. We might have beaten well once or twice over the years, but generally speaking, it's normally quite a close game. I think about some of those last-minute winners that we've got at Craven Cottage, for example. So to beat them well, even though I predicted 3-0, to beat them well wasn't particularly on the cards anyway. So, but to get the win, massive. I don't think this was the best game that we've played under Carrick. I know it's only 3 games.
No.
But out of the 3, this is probably the worst. However, again, we showed some character. It's in the name, Carrick, but we showed some character. And, we managed to bring that back from 2-2, because I tell you what, when I saw that second goal go in from what's he called, Kevin.
Mate,
I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. And this was the big test for Carrick, and he's failed it. But we get the winner, Sesko, the big lad, and obviously we'll come on to that probably. But feel great after that win. How are you feeling?
Oh man, I mean, just piggybacking on what you've just said, like when that Kevin goal went in, I just thought, oh mate, you know, I thought it kind of karma came back around the way we beat Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like, scoring 2 amazing goals, and I thought, you know, football's got a funny way of hitting you back sometimes, it's just hit us back again with a Kevin. A beautiful goal. I mean, he's put that top bins practically, you know, cut in. A trademark Ashley Young goal, shall we say, right?
There's not much we could have done about either goal, really, was there, really?
No, exactly, and that's what I mean by karma. There was not much Arsenal could have done with either goal that we scored against them. I thought that was it, and I was kind of like so deflated and kind of like, oh. I mean, we did well to beat City, we did wait to beat Arsenal, but I'm not happy with this draw here. It was just such a downer.
And this is the first time I feel we've made it count, in a sense, after, like we say, well, you can beat a City or what have you, but you've got to make it count and go on again.
Yeah, for sure. And to go up the other end, and we're going to come on to Bruno Fernandes. And I mean, anyone who saw my video yesterday, I mean, for me, the guy is just unbelievable. To let it run through his legs or whatever he does, that little dummy.
Yeah.
You know, Bassey's not a slow coach either. Bassey's a strong boy. You know,
big lad.
Big lad. And, you know, to do that, it's, again, Bruno is just so underrated. His speed, his cleverness, his awareness.
But I've got to say, though, with that chance, if he takes that ball a few more yards, we don't score, because Bassey will have dragged him to the ground or caught up with him. So to actually play that pass across the box under that pressure from Bassey and get it, and it was accurate pass as well. You've got to hand it to the guy, because he ain't the quickest, Bruno, but then he's quick. He's not slow, but he's not the quickest. And like you say, Bassey's a monster.
Mate, Bassey's not, you know, like I said, Bruno's speed is underrated with and without the ball. And to then have the awareness to play it back, you know, to miss that first defender and play it back and get it to Sesko. I held my breath because I was not sure. Again, it seems like everything I say, the opposite happens. So, you know, I said Carragher will be sacked before the end of the season. There's no way he's going to do anything. I've said Casemiro's the flop. We're going to get on to him shortly. And now it's a case of he's playing the best for us he's ever played. And I honestly thought Sesko was going to put that into row Z, as the saying goes.
Yeah, could have done.
And to take a touch and basically curl that around the defender.
Yeah.
When fantastic I tell you, I almost fainted, mate. I almost fainted. I got up, mate. You know when you grab your top, you just cannot control your emotion. And I'm going to tell my missus, look at that finish. You know when you just, oh my God, I was completely off it. My daughter's looking at me like this.
Yeah, I felt. I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a clip of Ricky who was on United Stand, and he's doing that thing where he's shaking like this.
Yeah.
I felt it. Like,
that is it. That is spot on. You know, that shake. Yeah, that is exactly what I had. And I guess he's trademarked it now. The Ricky shake is what happened to me. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And, you know, Michael, as you know, always comes here, always comments, been a subscriber of mine for a while. Under Amarim, he says to me the whole time, even when I was getting more positive, 5 wins in a row and I'll take him more seriously. 5 wins in a row and I'll be happier. And I always was like, yeah, fair play, fair play. My standards were so low with Amarim, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Carrick's got Spurs next. He's got West Ham thereafter. We're going to touch base on this later in the show, but this is becoming very, very, very possible that 5 wins in a row is happening. I mean, how can
Haircuts
you
are
ask
coming
for the
out.
man to leave after 5 wins in a row in a Premier League that is very competitive? Let's be honest. Every team's getting points off of every team, but man, what a game. What a result. I mean, how did you feel like we played, though? That's the thing. You know, when you score in the last minute like that and win games, you kind of forget the rest of the game. How do you feel about how we played? Our defense still a weakness?
Yeah, I think I was sort of touching on it earlier. I think this is definitely the worst out of the 3 games. I did think the City game was the best in terms of I felt we were in control. I know a lot of people probably thought that was a bit weird to say, but I did feel that we were in control in that City game. The Arsenal game, I liked the Arsenal game. I think we played well, especially after we got our goal back. But in this one, there were moments where we played well. Don't get me wrong. There was individuals that had done bits and pieces. I just don't think that. I don't know whether it's that we were. Can we say that we were shocked? Can we say Carragher was shocked how Fulham set up? I'm not sure. I think maybe more from my point of view that I was expecting Fulham to sit back a little bit more.
Before you move on before you carry on, sorry. I mean, Spurs are looking for a new manager eventually. I think that will eventually happen. Let's hope their manager don't find their feet against us in the next game. Right, their manager don't find his feet, rather.
Yeah.
But if there's a manager that deserves a shot at a bigger club, it's Marco Silva.
Yeah, I don't think our club, but a bigger club.
No,
I'd agree with
that. I'm talking about Spurs. I'm talking about Spurs.
Yeah, I think he'd do all right there.
He sets up his teams well, you know. I think he did okay at Everton. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No, I think again, I suppose you got to give Fulham some credit as well. I think Fulham again was set up well. They played well. I just think that I'm not sure if we were ready to approach the game in the way that I'd like to have seen him approach the game. But I don't want it to go into a downer, but we need to dissect it a little bit. I just think,
of course we do, yeah.
We're a little bit slow or lethargic in the press for me. I don't think we was as aggressive in the press as we were against maybe like a City or an Arsenal. I think the fact that Fulham ended up with the lion's share of the possession overall was a little bit. I always find that a little bit embarrassing when a smaller team has more possession than us, especially at home. Now, obviously, I'm always going to take the win over possession because stats mean nothing unless you win. Simple as that. And obviously, there's a place for stats. It's just in this game, them having more possession than us means fuck all because we won. So that's the main thing. And I think the difference for us is our attackers over their attackers. We've just got better players up front, haven't we? We've got better players that can finish off. They don't have a Sesko that could have done that. They don't have a Cunha that could shoot in on that angle. And very little to aim at. They don't have a Cunha doing that. They don't have a Bruno that can do that down. Yeah, Bruno's not a winger, but he had some fantastic wing play. They don't have a Bruno. No team has a Bruno, to be fair.
I mean, and to be fair to Fulham, we've spent a lot of money on our team, right? You can't expect them to have that. But
that's the difference. That's the difference,
on Lou's point here, the tempo didn't feel high throughout, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
What I will say is teams don't respect us yet. Teams still feel they could come to our gaff.
Yeah, they're coming for
beat us.
Beat us.
Yeah. And I guess Fulham were a little bit like, okay, they've won 2 games back to back. Let's keep this a little cagey.
Yeah, let's test them.
But then they went back to, let's not respect them. We're good enough to beat them. Yeah. And Lou, the minute that happened is when we kind of were like, okay, this is what we need. This is where we're excellent under an Ollie or under a Carrick. When teams go for us, like how many balls did we play over the top for Mbumo? And you know what? Cunha on the wing, I did not think works, but it's working. The guy runs at his player. He runs at his player.
He's doing a job. Yeah, he's doing a job. He's going to do it different to a traditional winger, and obviously he's going to do it different to Dorgu because Dorgu's a bit more explosive and is a bit more attached to the
Man City game. Cunha's crossed that in for Dorgu from the wing, kept it simple, old school winger, Antonio Valencia style. Get a yard, no tricks, cross it in. Yesterday or whenever it was yesterday the game, wasn't it? Yeah, you know, you lose track of time sometimes.
Yeah.
He runs at his defender and basically asks him the question, what do you want to do? Trip me over? What do you want to do? I'm going to cross it in. No, I'm not. And you know what? It's just refreshing to have someone that does the job of an old school winger. And he's been doing that. He's been doing that. And we're going to touch base on him. I feel like he's like, you know, we signed him when we signed him. And we're going to talk about January signings and how we're not linked with absolutely anyone. I feel like Cunha's a brand new signing in January. The guy's been sensational, mate. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think, obviously we'll come on to it, but I think Cunha has shown bits and pieces. And I always say in my videos that I want to see the Cunha from Wolves, a lot more of the Cunha from Wolves. And I appreciate he would shoot quite a lot and maybe not score that much, but he still had a good record in terms of goals and assists, and I just want to see a bit more of that. And I'm starting to see it now, and I think this change of system is probably suiting him, but at the same time, it's everybody else raising the game as well.
Yeah, true. You say that, right? And you would, on paper, we would all say, everyone in the chat, everyone watching, me and you, that Amorim's system was perfect for Cunha, having another number 10 next to him in his preferred position. Blimey, he looks better in this system. He looks better on the wing. He looks better having more of a free role. You know what I mean? And oh man, I guess that just
But I think he had more of a free role at Wolves, though, didn't he? I felt he was like the star man. He was the main man.
Michael says it here. Cunha played the wings for Wolves 50% of the time he was there. And you know what? A number 10 should have a bit of a free role. That's what number 10s are supposed to have. But in Amorim's system, no one had a free role. It was all very rigid, very matter of fact.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people that had a free role, really, and that's because they were running around so much, was the wing-backs. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't rely on your wing-backs to be the people that are going to win you games. Contribute to creating chances, but not win you games. But yeah, I mean, Cunha, for me, we're going to touch base on him again. He's been just sensational, mate. Sensational. In regards to Harry Maguire, how did you feel about his performance? I don't know if maybe he never stood out to you, but
no, I think he had a good performance again, a steady performance. I think obviously the giving away the penalty is going to be a bit of a blot on his performance, but maybe it was because we still won, so I didn't really go for Maguire. But I mean, it's one of those where, with hindsight, you don't challenge because Le Mans gets there. But at the same time, you've got to go for the challenge as the last defender at the same time. So it's one of those tricky ones. And obviously, if it was a split second quicker, he'd get the ball before Jimenez.
It's funny. I said this in my last video. You may have seen it, but I watched the Man United YouTube. You know, they sometimes put out their little training montages of the week, right? And the one thing the goalkeepers were practicing was that exact scenario.
Yeah, I noticed that. I've not seen that before.
Player about to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but he's coming in close. Goalkeeper comes out and smothers it and just makes himself big, crosses his legs, bang. That's exactly what they were practicing in training.
Yeah, because they were doing a lot of cutbacks with the goalkeeper. And I mean, they might have done it, but they just didn't show it. I don't know. It's the first time I've seen that. Yeah,
Le Mans had that covered. And sometimes the defenders have got to just. I understand you wanted to fix your mistake, but I think sometimes you got to be like, you know what, my goalkeeper's got that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I know in that split second, it's very hard to make decisions. But Le Mans had that covered, and you've seen that. And then Maguire just comes in and absolutely takes out. Who was it? Jimenez?
Jimenez, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he went absolutely flying. It was a Stonewall penalty, and I was just kind of like, Maguire, you've had a good game here.
I'd have to watch that sequence back, but I didn't fully blame him at the time. I just thought, I know that Maguire's not going to get there because he's just not quick enough. But they were sort of trying to be positive with the line, and he was a bit high. And obviously, if that ball gets played over the top or through the lines, he's going to struggle. And I think maybe that ball probably should have got cut out before it got there anyway. So it's more of a team defensive error more than just on Maguire. And I think maybe Maguire's not got this in his head, but I was saying this myself as well in my video, is that Le Mans isn't really known for coming off his line from his last club. So in terms of when you look at his scouting reports, he doesn't really engage and come out off his line. So obviously he's probably improving that now. But at the same time, Maguire should know that that's what they're now looking at in training and trying to improve that in Le Mans' game. So maybe it's just trying to give a bit more trust. But the thing is, if he doesn't go back, but then Le Mans doesn't come out, that's going to look
there you
crazy.
go. Dan, and I think Lou's going to like you, right? Because of what you just said. And hopefully one day we'll get Lou on this channel. We keep missing each other. She's inviting me to hers. I need to invite her to mine. And she said exactly what you've just said. Thing is, if he stands off and Le Mans hasn't got it covered, we criticise Maguire. Don't forget he played in front of Onana. And yet, you guys are right. You guys are right, you know. But, you know, Lou, if you had seen that YouTube clip that Man United put out that week, that is literally what they put in the clip. The goalkeepers, all of them, Bayern, Heaton, and Le Mans.
Exactly, I'm going to guess this is a recent thing, though. So it's got to be a part of the muscle memory. It's got to be a part of learning people's games.
Totally, but the thing is, it's come up in the game. It's actually come up in the game. And I would have, you know, when you've done something very recent, you know, you feel confident. That's the truth, you know. Like, I do think Le Mans had it.
I do think in most circumstances, though, if you watch other teams, I think you'd probably see Saliba doing the same, Gabriel doing the same. And I think if you're quicker, you get there before the keeper. And how many times do you see it where the keeper wipes out their own defender because they're slower than the defender? Defender just gets there, nicks the ball away, and then the keeper wipes his own defender out. So I think you've got to be safe. You've got to sort of be safer than sorry in a sense sometimes. But I get what you're saying as well, where you've got to sort of understand each other. So it's a bit of both. And
I mean, I think you and Lou have hit the nail on the head there, and that was me being a little harsh. But you know, I thought Maguire had a good game, but there was just a few times where there was another one where a cross came in, he went to head it, but he missed it. It fell to the player behind him. I don't remember who it was. And then he rescued it. He rescued it and done really well. The thing is, mate, you don't want to be in rescue situations too many times, which leads me on to this question from Grace. Would you give Maguire a 1-year extension? Look, I think he's got great attitude, and believe it or not, he's a fantastic threat in the box. I mean, I know that's not his job for us, but even in the Man City game, he smashed the crossbar with a header. He wins headers. I mean, it's a weapon. You know, in this current Premier League, you need as many weapons as you can.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
And I would give Maguire the extension. It's all about squads. Arsenal are in their position they're in now, not because they play the greatest football, not even because they got the greatest starting 11, to be honest. It's their squad. So to answer your question, Grace, I don't know about you, Dan, but I would give Maguire a 1-year extension.
Yeah. I've talked about this myself as well, where I sort of said it in the sense of if he's prepared to reduce his salary, and I know the salary is nothing to do with us per se, it's more about I do want to see another centre-back come in the summer, but at the same time, I think there's value in Maguire staying in the sense of, I mean, I didn't watch the whole interview, but just him talking with Heaven on the United sort of app, and you can see what he's doing for the young players, for the younger players. He's speaking to Heaven, he's speaking to Euro, he's passing on valuable experience. And no matter what you say about Maguire, he's been there, he's done that in the sense of England, he's regular England player. When he's, you know, at his peak, he was regular for England. He's done a good job for us, you know, overall. I mean, he's had his moments, don't get me wrong, but he's been there, done that. He's played at lower levels. He talked about Heaven in a sense, you know, take this opportunity because at your age, I was in the lower leagues, is what he was saying.
Yeah.
He built up his time through that process. He's played for Hull. He's played for Leicester. He's then come to us. So he's been through it, and he's been through some hard times, Maguire. I mean, we've all been at him at times. He's been through some really tough times. So I think is valuable on and off the pitch for me. And like you say, his ability in the air in both boxes, you can replace it, but it's not that easy to replace. And again, he's one of those players where I think, do you let him go, but then you think, shit, where's Maguire? We could do with Maguire here in this game. And that's what you don't want to be there for me. I think you need to have that more of a
squad. For
the next person to take on the baton. I think to get rid of some players too early. I think what it is as well, just lastly on this, is that we're scarred from holding on to players too long. So like a Shaw, for example, I will say we held on to Shaw too long. He's still doing a job, don't get me wrong. But I think you kind of tar people with the same brush, don't you? And I think if he's still got value, why do we need to push him out the door? He's still got value.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
How
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, SJG says it. He has saved us so many times, weapon when needed. And that's exactly how I would describe him, to be honest. He is a weapon. He's a tool
don't have
in
to play
our
every game.
not
Don't
to
have to
use
play
the
every
pun
game.
because I hate Arsenal, but he is a tool in our arsenal. He's a tool in our toolbox.
If we're struggling to score and we do an Arsenal and chuck a ball in from a dead ball position, he's going to be there. That head, that slab head, can either save you in our box or save us in the sense of getting a goal back in their box. And he is dangerous in both boxes.
Yeah. And listen, his attitude is exemplary. That's a big word for me. Exemplary. Blimey. I shouldn't have gone back on it. I was trying to fix it. I said it worse than when I said it before.
Yeah, I think you got away with it the first time.
Yeah, I should have just left it the first time. Yeah, he's excellent, to be honest. His attitude is top notch, and I wouldn't get rid of him. And like Lou says here, if we are losing both Cass and Maguire after selling Scott, what do we do in the air? Because the only person better in the air and more of a threat for us in our squad currently is Casemiro. I mean, that guy, I keep saying we're going to touch base on it because all of the stuff we're going through is what we have listed out. But listen, to move on from the Fulham performance, yes, it wasn't as good as the Man City and the Arsenal performance. And my reasoning behind that and why I think that is because Man City and Arsenal, they came to just smash us, right? They came to beat us. Fulham came still to beat us, but we're a little more... and we struggle with that. We struggle with low blocks or mid blocks, whatever you want to say Fulham did. But Fulham eventually opened up because that respect for us is not there anymore. And it won't be there for a while, by the way. Tottenham have got to come and try and beat us. They do, because they need points, Look, West Ham might be a little more of a difficult situation and where we get tested a little bit more. But teams don't respect us anymore. And when they go for us in this current Carrick system scenario, we take them out. We've got so much quality, you know what I mean? But we'll move on to the next subject, and that is this. Let me just pop this up on the screen. Bruno Fernandes has now registered 12 Premier League assists this season. The record currently stands at 20, held by Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne. Let me move you up here, mate, yeah? Does he break it, Dan?
Good question. I mean... First of all, we need to remember half of the season's been played in a deep position and he's still within the shout of doing this. He's got, 14 games to do it. He needs 8 to match it, 9 to beat it. I won't bet against him doing it. I think there's every chance he could do it. I mean, he's got, 2 assists in this? Was it 2 assists in this game? So... I think he can do it, and I think he deserves to do it personally as well. I think the player he is the best number 10 in the world for me right now, and has been for a while, to be honest with you. And I just think it would be obviously a massive achievement for him. And I think to be up there with those 2 names as well, because Henry, what a player, De Bruyne, what a player. But I think he deserves to have his name mentioned in that list for me. But lastly on that, I think, why not? He's got enough games to do it. Obviously, I don't know whether he's thinking about it himself, but won't want to put too much pressure on it because it's not all about that. But I think definitely now playing in that number 10 position and getting 2 assists in 1 game. And there's times, I think it were, which game was it now? Was it City game when he could have had 6-7 GA? So again, if our forward players finish their dinner, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Oh, mate. I hope Lou is still in the chat. If she's not, I think this will be a reason to maybe get her on. She likes Bruno, of course she does, right? But we've clashed on numerous occasions. I mean, the first time we were on stream together was on the Football Terrace, and it was an immediate argument, or shall I say debate. But this is what debates are supposed to be, right? You have a debate with someone, you have an argument with someone, but you can still you're still mates. You still can have a proper
as long as it's not nasty, you can have a debate.
That's what it was about, and that's why it was great with Lou. But
can't agree with everything.
To get to the point, I absolutely love Bruno Fernandes. she's not quite in the same park, right? But I'll let her speak for herself, whether that be in the chat or when she eventually comes on the show. But for me, if he achieves that, right? Let me see if I can put it back on the screen. If he achieves this, right, to beat those two names there, there is no question. I don't think there's a question anyway, to be honest with you. But there is no question that this man is one of the greatest number 10s to ever play in the Premier League, if not the world, for me. That is crazy to beat those two. I mean, I'm guessing Kevin De Bruyne matched Henry, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
I mean, one quick thing on that is I don't know if it'll make a difference if he beats him, if I'm honest, because I just think there's just certain people. Again, we aren't sat here saying this guy's the best player in the world or anything. We're just saying as a number 10 and the numbers he puts up is up there. And for me right now, I struggle to think of a better number 10 right now. But I think even if he beats it, there's still going to be critics of Bruno that still will say, well, he's just a stat padder. And I mean, he won't get the respect. So
anyone that calls Bruno that, just genuinely doesn't like football, straight up.
Yeah, and you will get what Michael's saying there. You'll get a lot of people saying that.
This is why I've put it up. He's going to break the record. The only problem is it's not a title-winning team. And you know what? That actually helps his argument. You know what I mean? And I get it. Winning titles is what matters. But he's got these numbers, like you said earlier, playing out of position majority of the season, right? It's just sensational for him to break the record in a team that's been struggling for half of the season, that's had to sack their manager. That tells you all you need to know, to be honest. I really hope he breaks it because he deserves it. He hasn't got the accolades in regards to silverware that he deserves at Man United, right? And I've apologized numerous times that we've let him down in that regard. So I do really hope he breaks that record so his name is up in stars in the Premier League. So in the future, when anyone gets close to that, the name that's going to be there, 24 assists is going to be Bruno Fernandes. He deserves that. He deserves that. I know that's minor, and in terms of what Man United should be giving him on his CV is beyond that. But I'm
surprised they haven't done it already, to be honest. Because when I saw it pop up, I'm surprised you haven't broke it already, to be honest, because when it popped up, I thought, you already broke that. I didn't really think about it. So it'd be interested to know what he's done across all the seasons, how close he's been to it in the past, because it's a strange one that he hasn't already broke that, really.
Yeah, you're right. Because, I mean, I think, of course, he smashes his assists and his goals every season. But, we've been in a lot more competitions this year. Every time he plays, it's in the Premier League. So, let's just hope everything he delivers will be in the Premier League. That's all he can deliver in anyway. And as he says here, Kevin De Bruyne matched Henry with 5 fewer games. Fair enough. Dallo number 10, who says Grace absolutely loves Dallo. And listen, he didn't have a bad game, and I don't think we should have taken him off for Mazraoui, if I'm honest. I thought that's something we didn't touch on when we were talking Fulham. When he made that Mazraoui sub, I was kind of like, oh, mate, we're under the cosh here, and you making this sub just sends the message of let's hold on to this 2-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Kevin goal has come from the Mazraoui side, Dallo's side.
Yeah, I was trying to see who's to blame there, and I think Mazraoui.
It's come from the Mazraoui side.
I was sort of blaming Ugarte a little bit when I was watching it back. I don't think he tracks
so funny. Ugarte and Mazraoui were the two subs that came on.
That's when it fell to bits. Casemiro going off.
Yeah, and they're two negative subs, and I was just kind of like, I get it. We do have to trust our squad here. But honestly, I would have brought on a Xerxes or someone like that so we could hoof it forward. This was my thought process. So we could hoof it forward, he controls it down, and we just get the ball higher up the pitch and try and keep a hold of it, right? But those substitutions just turned it into let's hold this 2-1, and then boom, Ugarte, Mazraoui trying to close down Kevin. And listen, the goal was sensational, but still, it was just the attitude of the substitutions was kind of like, is Amarim back in charge here? I know it wasn't a centre back, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I think I sort of saw why you were trying to do it. I thought if it was because Casemiro was on a yellow card, wouldn't it? And I think he probably put Ugarte on to try and control things in terms of more energy, try to win the ball back. But the problem is, you've got to get every substitute right. You can't have 100% record where all the time your substitutes are right. Fergie would have got things wrong in the past. Pep gets things wrong. But I think his intention was probably right. It's just that, can you get the execution from Ugarte? And evidently not. And unfortunately, probably not his fault really, but it looks like sometimes when Ugarte comes onto the pitch, we actually concede goals at times. So I don't know if there's anything in that, but
that's not his. That's not his job, right? His job is to stop that from happening. You know, the logic of bringing him on is to get the ball back.
Yeah,
that's it.
It is.
But at the moment, with the quality we have in our team, I feel like our best form of defense is to push forward, is to attack.
It is.
And
it is.
For us to keep the ball, believe it or not, we need our more attacking players on the pitch because they're just better technically on the ball. Ugarte's not great on the ball, so when we bring him on to hold a lead, it makes no sense. It makes sense to those who don't watch Manchester United because it's like, oh, he's a defensive-minded midfielder. He's going to break up play. The problem is he breaks up play and he doesn't know how to keep the ball. He doesn't make the right decisions. Do you know what I mean? We need we need players on the pitch that bring the ball down, like a Xerxes. Now, I'm not saying play Xerxes in midfield, but you know, I don't know, sub off one of the forward players and bring on fresher legs rather than freshening up the back.
But really quickly, it depends on what Xerxes comes onto the pitch, though. I know you rate Xerxes, and it's not because I don't rate him. It's because I will give him his flowers when he does well and he scores a goal or he's got nice touches. But it depends on which Xerxes comes onto the pitch, though. And I think if you get the Xerxes that comes on and loses the ball, but then can't be asked to run back, it'll be no difference. And problem is as well is that it's good to have like a Kobe Mainoo, for example, who can keep hold of the ball and he can pass the ball around the corner, that sort of thing. But it's still not great for Kobe if your forward players can't keep hold of the ball more than a few seconds, because if it keeps coming back all the time, you're going to get caught out at some point. You're going to get caught out of position, or you're going to just be tired, or whatever it may be. So you still need to have a good Xerxes coming onto the pitch for that to make sense as well. It's one of those where hindsight's beautiful, but you just don't know what would have happened, do you?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But to finalize the Bruno segment, you think he's going to do it, yeah?
I think, I wouldn't bet against him doing it, put it that way, because I think he's got the ability to get more than one assist in a game, for example. He's got 14 games to do it. He only needs 8 to match it, doesn't he? If I get my maths right. He only needs 9 to beat it. So I would say it's not easy, because just because he's on the pitch doesn't mean he's going to get an assist. And it's also dependent on the person finishing the assist off, isn't it, in terms of scoring? But and obviously all of it's dependent on that. But the way he's been playing, the weight of his passes at times, so like that pass for Sesko in this game, it was just begging Sesko to control it and hit it, and he did. And he's had his moments where he's passed with the right way to pass, where it's like, it's up to you now. I've given you everything you need in this. It's like when he put that ball through to Mbumo against was it City, and you just
it almost scored the goal. It almost scored the goal.
Exactly. You can't miss this because it's perfect weight. It's in the right place, and it's almost like in Bruno's head. It's like, this is exactly where I'd want the ball to be if I was running through on goal, and he gave you no option but to score. So there's every chance he could do that 8, 9, 10 more times easily. So I'm going to go and say he's going to do it.
Yeah, but that's what Raja's just shown up here. I've not seen you here before, so hopefully you can like and subscribe to both of us. Dan Talks United is in the description. That's exactly what we're discussing. Will Bruno be hitting 20? And I think it's going to be close, by the way. I do think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I really hope he does it. And like I said, I feel like he deserves it. He deserves to be in Premier League history for the next 10 years or so. And I feel like to break that assist record is going to take a very special player. When you look at the players that are on the list ahead of him, Henry and De Bruyne, them players don't come around very often. So for a player to beat Bruno's record, if he sets it, will take a lot. So I think he'll have that record for a long time, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. I think the guy is absolutely sensational, and I hope he does, Raja. But moving on, This fella, we touched base on him slightly. Oh, wrong thing. Remove, bear with me. I'm struggling today, mate. Wow. Here we go. Sesko. I mean,
Yes.
again, everything I say these days said this fella's not good enough, and we shouldn't have wasted our money on him. We should have got a midfielder. I mean, that jump alone might be worth a bit of money. I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive, that jump. And one thing I want to note here, look at Xerxes' reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
That for me is the type of player you want on the bench, if that makes sense.
I'm impressed by that reaction, to be fair.
Yeah, this is the type of player. I'm going to full screen it because it deserves to be full screened. Xerxes' reaction here, knowing that that player there jumping in the middle of the air has basically taken his role, his position. That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want, considering the man behind him, Kobe Mainu, who's been playing fantastic since Amarim's gone, and sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes you don't gel well with managers. That happens.
Yeah.
But considering Kobe Mainu had free Mainu t-shirts of his brother wearing in the crowd, this is the sort of attitude you want from your players, and I'd love to see that from Xerxes. But back to Sesko, and we're going to kind of segue this into the fact that the transfer window's almost finishing today, right? Does it finish? You said it might finish at 7 p.m, so I guess it's finished. Maybe we're wrong.
Close.
Maybe we're completely wrong. But it doesn't look like we've
just got the message flash up on my phone. Deadline day, window closed.
Yeah, there you go. And I don't think we signed absolutely no one, right? Which is understandable. I mean, part of sacking Amarim was that we don't have to sign anyone in January. It made Ineos do that. However, is Sesko a new signing? Can Sesko be that new signing for us moving forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think I was quite excited about Sesko. Don't get me wrong, I'll be very honest. I was on that sort of train of Gyökeres purely because, just to really quickly touch on the past, because he played for Amarim and I thought it made sense, and he scored, hatful of goals for Sporting, all that sort of stuff.
You talk about Gyökeres, yeah?
Yeah, but once we knew we weren't getting him, and he was going to Arsenal, and then when I realised that we're going to go for Sesko, I'd sort of seen bits and bats of him, obviously Bundesliga, and thought, really exciting player in the sense of he's still young, still a bit raw, but the height, the athleticism, the leap he's got on him as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think when you've got that multidisciplinary sort of sport behind you, so he's a really keen basketball and stuff like that, I think that often helps your game.
Is he a kid? I didn't know that. Is he really?
Yeah. He actually does play basketball and stuff. And I think some of those clips where he's showing him dunking is actually real. So I think when you've got some of those other sports within you, that can help you in other sports. Because I've played basketball myself and really love basketball, so I know how it works in terms of bringing that into football and stuff.
I'm 5'7", Dan. I've never wanted to play basketball in my life. It's just fun. How tall are you, Dan? Are you quite tall?
What would I say? Guys always lie, don't they? So I'll say I'm 6'2", but I'm definitely not 6'2". I'd probably say I'm 5. I always say I'm 5'11", something like that.
Okay, so you're pushing the 6 foot. You could, with some heels, with some heels,
with some heels,
you're 6 foot. No wonder you like
and a platform.
Yeah, but carry on. Yeah.
But no, obviously I was excited about him coming in the sense of just the, and I know you don't like this term, but ceiling. I felt that he had. I thought he had growth within his game. I still think there's more to come from Sesko. So again, I think what I was excited about though is, although his probably his XG wasn't great because he was scoring bangers, I was quite excited to see a player come in that can score like that. The power in his shot, we haven't seen that yet, by the way, either. Don't know why, but the power in his shot. The lovely goals he can
That's
score.
why I had my money down that he was going to hoof that, by the way, because he does hit them a little bit, and it's like, mate,
he does hit them hard.
Place these a little bit,
And I think if you lean back a little bit, you don't know where it's going to go. But fair play to the guy, nice finish. But yeah, so I think I was quite excited about him coming in, thinking it's something different, and also he's decent in the air. for a tall guy, a bit like that Crouch thing where it's quite deceiving. He's probably better on the ball than you think. Now, don't get me wrong, he's had his moments where I'm thinking, am I going to jump on this bandwagon, calling him a giraffe and all these other things,
lamppost, like
all
I
these
did.
things.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think the only thing I'd say about him is, I think some other people have said the same, is that the aggression thing, I think he needs to start to improve in that. But I think he's a confidence player as well. And I think when he's on a run and he gets that knocked by getting pulled out like Amarin did to him, it takes a bit of time to get it back again. But in terms of that new signing sort of thing, I don't always like that thing of, it's like a new signing, because it's like it gets like the Glazers, for example, off the hook a little bit. But if I'm going to be on board with it, I'll say, yeah, it'll be like a new signing. He's got the right attitude. He's coming off the bench with the right attitude. You can see there with Xerxes, as you said there. And I don't think I've felt or seen that. It feels like I haven't seen that since Fergie days. You know, when you used to get Ole would just come off the bench and have the right attitude, for example. I don't feel like I've seen that since holidays properly like that, where everybody's just coming together and celebrating the goals. And like you say, Xerxes could look at him and think, well, you've got my spot. I'm not celebrating that. But he were rushing on. He would rush in the pitch.
This is what I mean.
Subs that were doing the same thing. So lovely to see. And like I say, going back to Sesko, I think I'm just looking forward to seeing what he can do from here on in now. I think his season's going to be next season, though. But 14 games left. You don't know. You might score a few goals yet. I think I'd love to see him get double figures. I don't know what he's on at the moment, but I'd love to see him get double figures.
I have no clue either, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's got about 6, maybe. Because he's definitely got 4 since Carrick came, and they're all in the Premier League. So, and then you got 2 or 3 under Amarin, surely.
Maybe someone in the chat can help us. I mean, we should know, but I haven't checked. Because
I'd love to see him get double figures, though.
Sounds terrible, but I kind of wrote him off for this season, like, and kind of thought, hopefully he can come good next season under a new manager and system. So I kind of wrote him off and stopped looking at his numbers. But he came on and almost, this is going to be a positive and a negative. He came on, almost scored a header straight away. That hit the post. And I was like, that's what you want. You want your striker to come on and have an impact right away. But for someone who plays basketball and is that tall, and I'll put it back on the stage again, and can jump this high, you got to be putting them headers away. But he's young, and like you mentioned, you spoke about ceilings and all this stuff. And yes, as Raja just said here, confidence. Yeah.
Confidence is big. Yeah.
All of these things hopefully will come good and he'll score those headers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm hypercritical. You know me. I'm shocked.
I think it's also. I think it's. So I thought. Don't get me wrong. When it hit the post, I was like, "Oh, come on, Sesko, come on!" But I think sometimes it's difficult for a player coming on and to score the first touch. Don't get me wrong. Strikers do it, and have done it over the years. But I don't think the ratio of that happening is high. And I think he scored his second attempt for me. And I think it's the winner.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm hypercritical. But when you bring someone,
I want to see some headed goals from him though, because he's got a lead, he's got the height.
Misses that, doesn't it? A little bit.
Without a doubt, I don't think we see it. We don't see it anymore. We don't see crosses anymore. That's the problem.
These, the strikers that just score headers and headers and headers, like the Premier League, believe it or not, needs I can't talk about other leagues. I don't watch other leagues nowhere near as much as I watch Premier League, if any, right?
Yeah.
But the Premier League, I can't think of one off the top of my head now, a striker that scores at least 6 to 8 headed goals a season. You know what I mean? And if Sesko can do that for us, that's another weapon. Do you know what I mean? That other teams don't have. And these are the sort of things you need to find in this current climate. What weapons can we get that other teams don't have? Arsenal have found it with their smelly set pieces. And as much as I hate to admit it, it's working for them, right? That weapon alone is going to potentially win them the Premier League. If Sesko can improve his headering, like one season, I think it was the season after Ronaldo left, Rooney played up top as our striker. And his headering was just, I don't know, what he did in training was out of this world. We just need that from Sesko. Do you know what I mean? Michael says Sesko scored 2 goals on the run before he got injured, then came back 2 games before Amarin cost himself the job. Yeah, I'm not sure what his total is, But to finish on the Sesko thing, I hope he can be like a new signing for us in January. The window's closed, and if he can kick on from here now and get that confidence from that goal, you saw what it meant to him. You saw what it meant to the team. You saw what it meant to us fans and the club. If he can just galvanize that and kick on, I think he can be a new signing.
Yeah.
And that segues us into this. Casemiro's reaction got me when Sesko scored. And that is our next subject. So I'm glad you mentioned it, SJ. I don't know what it is about your name and a J and a G going together. It just rolls my tongue, but yeah. That's a me thing, mate. It's when I speak sometimes I just absolutely lose it. But Casemiro, I mean, there's a few things I'm going to pop up on the screen. There's a few things I'm going to ask you about Casemiro. But just on SJG's comment here, Casemiro's reaction, he was literally like us fans. He stood up in that little substitute box that we have. It's higher up in the pitch. And he's just holding himself on the brick wall banister. And he's just like this. And I think who was next to me? I think it was Cunha. Cunha's trying to tell him, celebrate, mate. And he's just like, I can't even celebrate, mate. I'm going to faint. What a legend Casemiro is. I've knocked him. I called him a flop. What a player. Here's my question to you, Dan. And it's come out over, the last 24 hours, right? Would you give Casemiro the extension? I know he said he's leaving. I know he said he's done. But would you give Casemiro the extension? Or is it time to move on and just enjoy the last push that he can give us?
Yeah, I put this in this almost the same category as the Maguire question in a sense, where again, because I think I've sort of answered it to a certain extent in my own show, where I put up the picture of Bruno, Casemiro, and Maguire, and sort of dubbed that like our spine in a sense. And it's like to lose all 3 of them potentially. So again, I don't know what Bruno's going to do in the summer, but if Bruno was to go, Casemiro's already said he's going, and if Maguire goes as well, that is a bit of a spine there that you're losing. So to make it more specific to Casemiro, again, the way I answer the same way, it's like I'd keep him. Again, it will be more about, does he reduce his salary, which gives us the ability to bring his replacement in whilst he's still there. And that's how
to be honest with you, though, the extension doesn't have a reduced salary. So Raja's saying here, give him 120k a week. I mean, you're disrespecting a man if you say to him, yeah, we want to trigger your extension, but by the way, we want to half your salary. It's just not on, is it? If you're going
it's difficult to do. Yeah.
If you're going to trigger his extension, you've got to give him, in my opinion, the that salary he's on now, surely.
Yeah, I think obviously realistically you'd have to do that if he was triggering the extension. Obviously, you'd want to try and negotiate where you get a halfway house for me, because the thing for me is you want to free up enough space in terms of budget to bring his replacement in this time round. So you want to again be able to hand over to an Anderson, let's say, Baleba, whoever it may be. And I think just he might want to go away somewhere where it's a bit more relaxed, and play first team football week in, week out, and you name it, and maybe even win the odd trophy here and there. And I get that for him. For us, next season, you're probably looking at him playing more of a bit part role, maybe, and reducing his games a little bit. So maybe he plays a lot of Champions League games, for example, and not so many Premier League or vice versa. So he might not want that. But in terms of what I do, I think you've mentioned it yourself earlier, his presence in both boxes, to be fair, is unrivaled, unmatched in terms of the team.
So important for us. So
very important in terms of that goal. Just that goal, that first goal. It's like, okay, you could say Maguire could score that, but he's the guy that you want on the end of that. When a cross comes in, he just attacks the ball so well. And I just think you can, again, when you think about who we could get in, I'm not sure we're going to get Anderson, but I don't know if Anderson's good in the air. I don't know him to be good in the air. I don't know Wharton to be good in the air. I don't know Baleba to be good in the air. And I don't just mean attacking wise, I also mean defensively, because he does a really good job defensively in the box as well. So that alone is a lot. But then at the same time, it's his experience. I keep talking about his dark arts. I think when you get experience and you've been in the game for a while, those dark arts come out where, again, you're on the ball, you know a player's coming behind you can feel his breath on your neck, and you think, I'm just going to put my leg across and let him take me out, and then I'm going to go on the floor, I'm going to grab the ball as players do, and I'm going to take the sting out of the game. I'm going to waste minutes. So especially if you're winning 2-1, let's say, for example, I'm going to close this game out. And they're all valuable stuff that you want to pass down to the players coming up and coming through and what have you. And I think that combination at the minute between him and Mano, it's looking good.
For sure.
I just think there's a lot of value in keeping him. And I understand that he's getting on. I get that.
By the way, before you carry on, I mean,
yeah,
this wasn't even picked up. This wasn't even, I'm glad you mentioned it, Raja. I mentioned it yesterday in my reaction. This wasn't even picked up by the commentary, unless I missed it. The geezer's gone and done a no-look pass into Cunha. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if it was at the time, but it's been mentioned afterwards, yeah.
Not even picked up at the time. And it's like, come on, what are you watching? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. That was sensational, the no-look pass.
I must admit, I didn't see him do it until the replay.
I think even Manu, instead of celebrating the goal with Cunha, ran over to Casemiro and just gave him a little, oi! That was
what you doing? What's that?
Are you doing? Yeah. And you can tell, you know, he's got that role in the team, like the uncle, the father figure. You know, the uncle. Hey, uncle, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do a no-look
can't be doing
pass.
that.
And then he looks at the young'un and just gives him the,
He's
don't
like,
you worry.
What
don't
do you know?
worry. Even when he scored his header, he's standing there, his celebration, he's looking at his kids. Like, it's me. I absolutely love it, mate. But sorry to interrupt. Go on.
But no. I think all of that, and I think just when you think for a second that he hasn't got it in his locker, for example, or he might have lost it a little bit, then he pops up with stuff like that. And I think in that game, he gets a goal, which is important to get that first goal, especially when it started off cagey, and then he does an assist like that, no luck as well, and you just think. It just reminds you all that I'm Brazilian. Of course, I've got this in my locker. I'm Brazilian. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Another thing I've been saying, Brazilians are shit. Another thing I said, Brazilians are shit now. I mean, everything I've been saying over the last few weeks, Dan.
Keep saying it.
Come back to haunt me. So, I mean, let's look at some of these stats here, right? This is for Manchester United, by the way, this season. Goals scored 5. He's third on our list, you know. Basically the same position that own goals is for Arsenal. You know, that's how important Casemiro is to us, you know. Just look at how important own goals is for Arsenal. Goals scored from headers, 4 of them. So 4 of his 5 goals have been scored from headers, which, what did I say earlier? We need a striker that can header the ball and score goals from headers. It's like a secret weapon, you know. I mean, he's obviously first in our team for that. Total tackles, 52, first. Possessions won in the middle third, 51st, 51, second. Duels won, 107, second. And, you know, what's nice to see, and I mentioned it at the top of the show, we know this famous line, leave the football before the football leaves you. And Carragher's basically said and apologised and said the football has not left Casemiro, and he's been absolutely sensational since Carrick's come.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll say on Carragher, though, is I don't like Carragher, generally speaking. I don't mind him as a duo with Neville, and there's a bit of entertainment there, but I don't like the guy.
Do you not?
But I've got to be fair to Carragher and say, when he said it, I don't think there was many people that disagreed at the time.
Yeah, correct.
Because he had a terrible season that season when he said it, from my memory. And I think... I don't know if it was the same season where he probably did all right in Europe, because that was one thing about Casemiro as well. He was doing really well in Europe at times, but then back in the Premier League, he was struggling. But then when you look at setup, and again, we talked about before, haven't we? We talk about him at Real Madrid and having legs around him, Modric, Cruz, that sort of player around him. And he comes to Man United and he has to be the one that's the saviour. He wasn't the saviour at Real Madrid. He was another elite player with other elite players.
Yeah, we've asked
showing his
too much
craft.
from him, haven't we? We have
That's
asked
it.
too much.
And we're asking so much from this guy to.
I said,
don't get me wrong, he plugged a gap for a period of time, but you're going to burn out when you've got so much load to carry. It's a lot of load to carry.
To defend the fact that I called him a flop, there was context to it, right? I said we brought him in to improve our midfield, to improve our possession, to stabilize us as a midfield, and that hasn't happened. But that I also said at the time, that's not all his fault. You know, we've asked him to run more. We've asked him to run more.
And that's where I argued.
Yeah,
and that's where I argued a little bit because I know what you're saying, because I think you were sort of seeing it as, instead of we couldn't get the player that he wanted first, Frankie de Jong or whatever. He couldn't get him the first sort of choice, so we got Casemiro. But the problem is the profile of player was completely different. We got a completely different profile of player. We wanted a player that could sit as a 6, don't get me wrong, but was excellent on the ball. He could deal with the press resistance. He could get the ball off the back four and just like spray it around.
It's not Casemiro's game at all,
and we brought in a traditional 6, which is fine, who was more about breaking up play, being in the right positions and showing his experience. And that's what we brought in. And for me, he fulfilled that. It's just that he got exposed in many occasions when we're trying to play a double pivot and we don't block off the gaps in midfield to help him out. That's where, I'm not saying that he couldn't have upped his game a little bit here and there, because he's shown it like this season. What's going on. He's older than he was when he came in, obviously. But how is he better than that season where he had a massive dip and Carragher then said, you need to leave the game?
But like you said, that wasn't all his fault.
Locker. But it's not all his fault. And I think there's a lot of factors to it. And I think, just like we talked earlier about whether it was Maguire's fault for that penalty, there's a lot of factors that come into play sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I, like most fans, see a particular incident and think, that's your fault. What I like to do when I take the emotion away is watch the game back and think, right, how did it lead to that point?
Never take emotion away, Dan. Never. Never.
Apart from when I'm in the emotion room.
Never take emotion away.
But to finish off, though.
Go for it.
No, all I'm going to say is that, it's going back to Casemiro. Fantastic is all I can say.
Would you? The question was, would you give him the contract extension, or is it time to move on?
It's been fantastic, and I think in regards to giving that extension, I think if it's possible, I'd do it, and I think he'll be valuable to keep hold of him. But at the same time, though, we do need to get the successor coming in and sort of, like I say, handing over that baton if it's possible. I know it's not always possible to do that because wages and all this sort of stuff, but we're not going to get a transfer fee for him. We won't be getting a transfer fee for him. It's just purely his salary. And I think that's where we could get hampered keeping him because of the salary. So, but to answer the question, I would keep him personally.
Yeah. I've just popped this up on the screen. David, you mug Arsenal hater. Curtan, you're in the right place, my friend. You have found the correct David. I hope you like and subscribe. I appreciate you calling me exactly what I am. And that's an Arsenal hater. The mug part I'll take on the beard, on the chin, as they say. But you're right. I do hate Arsenal. So you're in the correct place. And Mama Flossie always doing what she needs to do, policing YouTube from anyone going over the top. Thank you for that, Flossie. But yes, of course, I took it as a joke. No problems at all. I've got thick skin, believe it or not. But to end, United might be the only team who can challenge us for the league. Fair play. You see, he turned himself around, him or she. I'm not sure.
He might be right, actually.
You've turned yourself around here. I will take you calling me a mug if this is what you follow up with. That's for sure. I appreciate the love. It's all jokes. It's all fun and games at the end of the day. But I'll be honest, I do hate Arsenal. That is not fun and games. But yeah, to end the Casemiro segment, I think part of him playing well is he knows he's moving on. I think part of him performing better, his reactions, his passion. He's always been great. He's always been passionate, and he's always loved Manchester United. But I think all of that is like, right, I've announced it. It's a weight off my shoulders. I know where my future lies. I'm moving on. Let's give this all I have. And I think that's the nice story for me. And I
Nothing
think,
wrong with that, though.
yeah, I think we should move on. But what I am with you is we still get a Belieber or an Anderson or a Wharton, and you keep a Casemiro because you need a squad. You need these players to teach them what's next. I agree. But what I will say is, you know, if this is true, if this does come to fruition, yeah, what a way for Casemiro to leave, helping us challenge for the Premier League. You know what I mean? Like, it would be great. You know what I mean? But that's dreaming, I think.
That's dreaming. Yeah, I can't see that.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Arsenal hate train, trust me. But again, I know I said this earlier, to summarise the Casemiro thing, I think he's announced he's leaving. It is like 350k a week. I understand the value in keeping him. And, you know, to pop this back up on the screen, it's going to be difficult to replace these numbers, especially weirdly, the goal scored. I mean, that's not what we bought him for, but he's had to adapt his game to offer more for Manchester United. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's also his tackles, his possessions won in the middle third. That is what we bought him for. The duels won. He's ticking all the boxes and then some. He's actually, you know, he's actually improved as a player. Let's be honest, being at Manchester United. So it's going to be sad to see him leave, but I do think it's the right decision. But I hear where you're coming from. But to move on to our last segment, really, the last piece of the puzzle is we have Spurs next. We have Spurs next, Dan, and they beat us 4 times last season, mate. 4 times they beat us last season. I mean, prediction, how do you feel about it? What does it mean if we win this game? We beat a team that beat us 4 times. I'll let you run with it before I give my analysis, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And obviously, it's finding the time to move on then and doing it at the right time. And I think Real Madrid are really good at doing that. We don't
know how to move on, don't they?
Yeah, we don't get our timing right. And I think you end up getting passionate fans like myself who are like, come on, just keep him a bit longer. And then before you know it, he's here too long. But anyway, we're moving on. Spurs game. I think I'm going to be saying this for every game.
Look at that, Dan. That's so true, isn't it? I watched yesterday's game. And Michael, I honestly, when the second goal went in, I was like, oh.
I was blaming you. I must admit, I was blaming you. Thinking, you're watching this. David's watching this.
Yeah. And I'm so glad Sesko changed the fortunes of that. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Go for it.
No, I think I'm going to be saying this for most of our games now to the lead up to the end of the season, where it's another big game again. It's another big game because, as I was saying last time, I think I'm so happy that we've beat Fulham, especially when we've got 6 points that I didn't expect to get from City and Arsenal, and to continue and get those 3 points again against Fulham, fantastic, because we're actually starting to make it count now. And we've not cemented 4th position, but we're in 4th position until the next games. And I think if we can beat Spurs now, that just sets us again. And I just think then it's about what the rest of you are going to do, because I do see, I know we'll probably come on to that, but I do see teams around us probably dropping points here and there. So I think this is a big game because we need to start to really firm up that top 4 position now and actually claim it as ours. And I think if we can beat Spurs, that's going to do that. But can we beat Spurs is another question. Thing is, I was confident at the start of their game against City, but then when they came back in that second half and got back 2-2, I'm like, there's still life in that old dogs.
What I will say is Spurs is City's bogey. Spurs,
yes, that is true. That is true. That is true. Yeah,
not even Man United. Spurs is Manchester's bogey team.
Yeah,
both
that is
Manchester
true.
teams
that is true.
Struggle against Spurs. I mean, it's just. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about recent times before we'd sweep them away, even being 3-0 down. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Yeah. But recent years, that Spurs team just has our number, has City's number. I mean, to beat us 4 times last year, it would be huge, in my opinion.
I think we're due a win. I think we're due a win.
I know, but you're right, and that's what some not negative, but pessimistic, is that the right word? Fans will say, you know, we were due a win. We lost to them 4 times last time. But if Carrick can beat them as well in his next game, I mean, it starts to become exactly this. I mean, I don't even want to say his name anymore. I went on an absolute rant in the match reaction yesterday because I just cannot believe how awful we were under this man. And I was conned by this charmer, you know.
I think where we could probably capitalise is that I do think Spurs will attack us. And I think that's what's going to play into our hands personally, because I don't know what their defence is saying at the minute. Because did he get? It is Romero, isn't it?
It is
did he
Romero,
get injured?
Yeah.
Did he get injured?
So.
I don't know.
I think he
all
played.
Right.
And Van de Ven.
All right. I thought someone said he came off, but I might be wrong.
By the way,
I mean, I like Van de Ven. I like Van de Ven.
I like both their centre backs. I know Romero's
is a bit of a nutter.
He's a grenade,
to me,
isn't he? He's not even a grenade.
He reminds me of Rojo, but a better version.
What are those bombs that you step on, and if you step on them, they go
off?
A
mine.
He's a landmine. That's what he is, isn't he? You know, you didn't. Boom, gone, done.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and he can lose his head. Red card,
doing?
you name it. Yeah,
but
crazy.
Romero's a landmine at both ends of the pitch. To be honest with you,
yeah.
You know, he'd go off in defence and concede you a penalty, but he'll also score you a diving header into the top corner.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I do like Romero.
You don't know what you're getting from him sometimes.
I do like both.
I like Van de Ven. Van de Ven. I would have him. I think he'd be a fantastic addition. Him and Martinez would be.
Keatan's just said here, Porro, Van de Ven, and Romero came off all injured.
Yeah, I thought he did. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the way they're a bogey team for us, I don't care who's on their starting 11. They're missing a lot of players. I do. For me, I'm nervous for the game, big time.
No, I am nervous, but at the same time, I'm thinking, I think they will come for us, and I think that's where we can hit them. And I think their defense isn't great. I do worry about Solanke, because I think he seems to do all right against us.
Jesus, did you see his goal?
And yeah, this is the thing, and it's that sort of scorpion kick. Yeah. It was a good goal, and I think that's where they sort of shock you a little bit. But no, I haven't really thought about the scoreline or anything like that yet. But at the minute, I'm a little bit like this. I keep sort of changing my mind, thinking, but that result against City. But then you've just said they are like a bogey team to City at the minute. So it's like, do I discount that? But then at the same time, I'm thinking, if some of their key, because they've still got some other key players that are out anyway. Is it Bentancur that's been out anyway? But I think they've got quite a few attackers that have caused us some issues as well.
Yeah,
and they seem to Tell, for example. I don't think it's the best in the world, but for whatever reason, they seem to cause us a bit of issues here and there. So it does worry me, and I am nervous about this game. However, I do feel more confident that again they'll come for us, and I think we can hit them on the counter. And I think we've got better forward players, and I think we can do it. I mean, I know they've got Simmons and little players like that and stuff, but I just think overall, I think this is a winnable game. And the only thing that's holding me back saying outright we're going to beat them is because they've had our number, and like you've said yourself, they've had our number. I don't know what it is, but all I can hope is that it was because we had Amarin in charge, and both teams have changed quite a bit now. Thomas Frank's a little bit up and down, hasn't quite settled in the Premier League. He does well in Champions League in Europe, but in the Premier League, they're a bit up and down out there. And I think they're there to be got at. And I think even when they're in the lead, they've often lost games or ended up drawing. So I think we've got a good chance. And I'm being positive. I think we've got a good chance. What do you think about this game?
I mean,
it's a tough one. It is a tough one to call.
Here comes negative David, but I think we do well. we do very well, guys, to win this game. And if we do, you won't catch me here saying our Spurs are shit at the moment. You won't catch me here saying they're missing players. We struggle to beat Spurs, and Spurs really do step up against the bigger teams. It's funny. Spurs were literally where we were last season, right?
Yeah.
Finished, I think, one spot below us. They're basically in the same situation as us. Only difference is we've kicked on a little bit.
Yeah.
And credit to Amarim as well. He kicked on a little bit with the team because he did leave the team in 6th, 7th position, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
I hate the guy, but he did leave us in 6th, 7th position. Where Spurs have been, I think they've been in the bottom half of the table since the start of the season. They've literally not kicked on from last season.
No. I thought they would do as well, but they haven't.
However, they're a bit like us, show up in the big games. Show up against the bigger teams. And when it comes to Man United Spurs, we're the bigger team. That's not us showing up against a bigger team anymore. That's us. We should beat this team. Do you understand what I mean? Our mentality when we play Spurs, in my opinion, is not the same mentality when we play Chelsea, when we play Arsenal, when we play Man City, when we play Liverpool. It's just not. Our mentality is a little more kind of like when we used to play the old Everton or if we were playing an Aston Villa now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that goes against us. That goes against us, I think.
Yeah.
And Spurs really do step up against the bigger teams. And I think I'm with Michael here, where a draw might be what we get from that. I'd be gutted with a loss, by the way.
Yeah, I'd be gutted with a loss.
We're at home, aren't we?
We're at home as well.
I'd be gutted with a loss.
I just think in regards to the recent past, I think we don't have Amarim, so we're not playing that stupid formation. We're playing with more freedom, more comfortable. We've got to put trust in Bruno and Boomer, Cunha. We've got Arsenal on our squad, to use the word Arsenal in terms of having the weapons. We've got some weapons there, and the firing as well. The weapons that are firing.
Yeah.
So we've got to think about that. We've also got to think that we don't have Bayern or Onana in there as well. And
true. I mean, we haven't touched base too much on Le Mans, but I mean, the bar was low. But he's looking good. Another good signing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But sorry. I mean, you just said in Boomer and Cunha, Spurs were in for both of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and we've gone and nicked both of them. Spurs, I don't think they were in for Sesko. That was Newcastle. But the fact that we've nicked both of their top two priorities, we should be kicking on. We should be kicking on and beating them.
Yeah.
And I think that shows in our league position, to be honest. We're fourth and there we are where they are. So we have had a great transfer window. We've signed players ahead of them. We got to win this game, you know. But a draw, I think, is realistic considering our history. But sorry, I interrupted there.
No, I mean, just to sort of finish off, I'm just trying to think about the differences, and I think they're big differences. It doesn't mean we're going to win, but I'd be absolutely gutted to lose. I keep saying we're due a win, and I think we are. But I think we just need to take the game to them. I think we've got enough weapons there, whether it be on the bench or on the pitch. We're blessed and sort of spoilt with riches there when you're going forward. And I'm not even mentioning Ahmad as well. I know he's not been scoring, but again, the threat he possesses. Again, there's a lot there to think about. And I think, again, having that settled goalkeeper, I think that helps. And I think just, again, their defense isn't great for me at times. But again, if they've got injuries in key areas, we could probably capitalize there. So I'm feeling positive. I'm not sure. I'm a bit up and down in terms of whether we're going to win or not, but I expect a result in the sense of we get at least a point. I'm expecting.
If you had to put your head on the chopping block,
you know what? I'm going to go with a narrow win. If I had to put my head on the chopping block, I'll go with a narrow win, like a 2-1 sort of thing. So
I mean, if we get that win, and we'll be sitting here next Monday, same time, same place. Just FYI for whoever's watching, and whoever watches the post after when it's put out there. Well, how would you feel? I mean, you know, would you start believing in? I think it was Kurtan that said it earlier. I need to find it, but I can't find it now. I'll scroll up shortly. But basically saying we're the only ones that can challenge Arsenal. I mean, if Arsenal lost the game, right? If Arsenal lost the game and we won, I think it's 9 points behind. And I think we're one of the only teams that have won the league. I saw this the other day. I wish I had it to put it here. Being over double-digit points behind.
Yeah.
This may sound delusional, this may sound crazy, what I'm saying here, but I'm asking you the question.
Say it.
Let's say we beat Spurs on the weekend, Arsenal lose a game, and we're 9 points behind them. And this Carrick, I'm not even going to call it a train, I'm going to call it this Carrick Concorde. Yeah? This Carrick British Airways Concorde that has been out of business, the Concorde, for many years, but has come back to life under Michael Carrick. Concorde is back in business. Would you start believing that we could kick on to challenge for second place or first?
Yeah. I don't know if I can go that far, but one thing I will say though is, because I did say to you I'd like to talk about our top 4 hopes, and where we're at with that. I've been eyeing up 3rd position, definitely been eyeing that up, because I think Villa's going to drop out of this, And just to quickly talk about that is because
Villa definitely dropping off. Douglas Luiz back, so they've obviously just signed Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, they have,
right?
But to have Kamara out, exactly. Yeah, I think that's big, and I think Watkins is a little bit of a doubt as well. So
Michael says here, we are unbeaten in 2026, and we did it when we clawed back 12 points from Newcastle to win the league. There's
a lot of omens in there. There's a lot of omens.
A lot of omens.
I would, like I say, I'm eyeing up 3rd position so far. I'm taking it step by step, day by day, in a sense, week by week. But I'm also, I know this, I'm going to say it out there loud because it's getting to that delusional state, but I'm eyeing up 2nd a little bit as well, but purely because City are just City. They're just not the City of old, are they? And I just think if you keep slipping up, City, and we keep doing what we're doing, you guys need to look over your shoulder. So I just think, is there enough games to claw it back on Arsenal? Arsenal have not been overly convincing. Don't get me wrong. Beating Leeds was good.
Yeah, I think 9-0 on aggregate against Leeds this season.
That was good. I wasn't expecting that. I must admit, I thought
because Leeds have been good this year.
Yeah,
I thought Arsenal have smashed them every time. So.
So I just think if people start to work Arsenal out, because we've worked them out in a sense, will other sort of teams follow suit? I haven't looked in at their running, and I don't know who they've got next or who they've got in the next sort of 5 or 6 games, let's say. But like for us, we've got Spurs, which I think's winnable. Then we've got West Ham, which again is a winnable game. I know all games are winnable to a certain degree, but I think the run we're on, the way we're playing, Spurs is winnable, West Ham's winnable, Everton's winnable, Palace is definitely winnable the way they're playing at the minute. Newcastle's the one where it's a little bit who knows. And then we've got Villa themselves. So if we get to a point where we're in there and we're there or thereabouts, if we can take points off Villa, who knows? Who knows? I mean, now, to go back to your question, I'm not sure we're going to be challenging Arsenal at this stage. I don't know if we've got that in us, if I'm honest.
Mate, Michael's here.
I'm eyeing up 3rd and 2nd, though. I'm eyeing up those 2 positions. I really am.
Yeah, Michael, if we go unbeaten until the end of the season, getting just 2 draws, then we will win the league because Arsenal will drop points, and I mean at least 10 points. I mean, man, I'll be honest. I've seen us win the Premier League a lot of times.
Tell you what, I mean, really quickly before you say what you think, and I don't like to do this because I think if you look at leagues gone by, there's always an argument to say whether there was certain teams challenging all this, but really this season, I don't think anybody's challenging Arsenal this season.
No,
because City are not doing what they would normally do. So by now, City would be putting pressure on Arsenal, but they're not. Villa, for me, they're just, I don't want to be rude, but I think they're pretenders. And I think now that
they've done really well. They've done really well.
They've done really well, don't get me wrong. But I think they're not challenging them either. And then after that, there's only like ourselves and Liverpool and Newcastle, and none of us have put apart from recently, none of us are putting a run together to challenge Arsenal, so they're getting away with it. So I think the moment that Arsenal have somebody on their shoulder, it's gonna be squeaky bum time, and I think they're not used to it, and they don't have people that have gotten them over the line before. And I think if you could claw back and get to around, I don't know, 6 or 7 points, I think they'll be nervous and they'll be sweating.
You say that, but they've dealt with Man City being 4 points behind them, 7 points behind them really well, in my opinion. Like
what, this season, you mean?
This season.
Yeah.
I think they've dealt with it really well.
I don't know. I just think City haven't done what they normally do, though, because normally when City are like they've done to Liverpool over the years as well at times, they start to steamroll teams.
Yeah.
And you start to think, oh my God, you see how they've just beat that team? And you start to think, shit, they're coming for us. I don't think Arsenal have ever really thought, shit, they're coming for us.
No one this year has done that to them. And I don't think, unfortunately, there's enough time. There's enough gap between first and second, let alone third and fourth, for anyone to put enough pressure on them for them to fold.
No, I don't.
In my opinion.
But what are you thinking? Your question, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I've seen Manchester United win a lot of Premier Leagues, yeah. Thankfully, you know, we've been lucky enough to be born in a generation we've been born in. However, mate, if we won this one, I think it'd be the best one I've ever seen. The pain we've been through the last 13 years, it would be the best one I have ever been a part of. Maybe because I'm older now, I can appreciate it more. Maybe because of all these rainy days we've been through. But to answer the question, of course, it's a dream. I'm going to wake up any minute now, you know. I shouldn't even be talking about it, really. But, you know, I mean, it would be just unbelievable if that was to happen.
It's not impossible, but it does feel a bit embarrassing to talk about. But it isn't impossible. It's not impossible. But I'm more. What do you think about eyeing up third position, though? Because that's where I'm at the minute. I'm kind of eyeing that up a little bit now.
Yeah, I think we're both a little excited, right? We've won 3 games on the bounce.
Probably.
The football's been pretty good. And if Carrick delivers top 4, to put this on the screen, will Carrick get a permanent job if he performs well with this team? I think if he delivers us top 4, he's done the job that he's supposed to do. Yeah. And I'm still in the camp. I know it's hard to be in that camp after what we've just witnessed after 3 games. But I'm still in the camp of he's doing a great job. I'll thank him for it. We need to go and get a top manager in the summer. That's where I'm at, Kurtan. And the only
where does that stop for you? Gonna say, where does that stop for you?
This is where I'm coming. The only way I think that stops for me is if the man, 1, wins the league, right? And 2, finishes second. The second, though, changes for me where it's like, I'll have the discussion and see who's available. And then I'll be like, actually, let's just stick it out with Carrick.
So first or second?
It also goes into the fact that if he finishes second, who are they looking to sign in EOS? They need to back him like tenfold so that it doesn't happen what happened with Oli, right? He got backed when he got Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane after finishing second, and it all just fell apart. That's my worry. You know, that is my worry. We finished second this year, and then next season we're flipping 8th or 9th, you know. But listen, 1 game at a time, 1 moment at a time. For me, if Carrick wins the Premier League, you have to give him the job. Facts. If Carrick finishes second, there is a very strong conversation where we need to look at Carrick on one side of the table and whatever other options on the other side of the table and weigh it up properly. Third or fourth, Dan, sorry. I think we need to go find a manager, and he's done fantastic for us.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say on that really quickly is that I think maybe Nicky Butt and Scholes and a few others have said this is an interim coach easier than being the permanent coach? And I suppose what they mean by that is that there's very little pressure on him at the minute, and it's just a short stint. It's almost like Wilcox says, right, Carrick, come and save us, to see what you can do for us. But once you get that title as permanent coach and you get that 3-year contract, things can change. That's the only thing what we need to hold ourselves back a bit. Even myself, who's being very positive, I've got to hold myself back and think, do things change when you become permanent? Because there's a lot of differences then in terms of players coming in, who comes in for you, how they play for you, all that sort of stuff. Right now, people are a little bit low, you could probably say. You've given them a boost. They all know that you're only there until the summer. Does that change once you get it permanent? So that's the only thing just to think about. But for me, I'm probably with you in the sense that I think if he won the league, I don't know who would dare, even Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Can't. Once that happens, even Roy Keane can't really, with his chest say, don't give him the job.
Yeah, true.
I don't think you can do that if he won the league. if he's second, it depends on the second where it's like, let's say, for example, he claws it back and it's like 2 points in it, let's say. You're thinking, whoa, what could you do with a full season? That's going to be your question.
Yeah.
Third and fourth, I think you're right. Third and fourth, you've done your job. Thanks a lot, Carrick. You're a legend. See you later. Although, for me, I'd still say, is it worth just having a chat with him? It's always going to come down to, though, really quickly, on who that person's going to be coming in. Because you've talked about elite coach. It has to be elite coach for me. It has to be. Because if it's not, and he finishes top 4, then I don't know if I want a Glasner type person or a Marco Silva type person if he's finished top 4. But it has to be an elite coach for me if we're going to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, I'm
right.
defo in that camp. I think the more wins he gets, I'll start drifting from first.
Yeah, it'll make it harder. It'll definitely make it harder.
To fourth, you know. Yeah. But that is the cutoff, by the way, to even entertain the subject.
That's the cutoff. That is the cutoff.
That is the cutoff. If he doesn't get top 4, then there's not even a conversation for me to
I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
Right now, there isn't a conversation unless he finishes first or second for me. I will thank him, and I think he's done a great job. But as I said, the more games he wins, the more moments he gives me, that will start extending to third and fourth, 100%, you know. And, you know, would you take De Zerbi? No, I wouldn't, you know. And
I don't want De Zerbi.
I just don't want any more of these next big thing managers. No. Curtin, maybe you're here. I don't think I've seen you pop up before, but I've said it a million times. These Amarims, he's
a hipster. I put him in the hipster category as well.
These guys, we just don't need it anymore. No. We either need someone who understands Manchester United DNA, and I know everyone was fucking laughing about that DNA talk, but you're an Arsenal fan. You've watched our games. You've seen what we've been doing since Carrick took over. Call it a manager bounce or not. We're playing some good football. We're playing some Manchester United football, right? And I've just had enough. Zerbi's a Spurs kind of manager. I've just had enough going for these up and coming managers. I either want a Luis Enrique, I want a Thomas Tuchel if he does amazing in the World Cup with England. That will cement that. Other than that, it's difficult. It's difficult where you go to from there. That. You know? But listen, let's hope Carrick does do amazing. Let's hope this does continue. And beating Spurs this weekend would be massive for me in thinking, oh wow. Oh boy. That's what it will be for me. And if he does that, I mean, listen, unbelievable. And yeah, I hear you. Don Carlo. And yes, he is a Don. He's up there. He'd probably be third on my list.
It's just the age, but yeah.
It is just the age. But listen, you know, an experienced man
we're just gonna have to call Michael Carrick Michel Carrico or something like that, and then it might seem nicer to have him as the coach.
Look, me, mate, I don't care. I've gone past the fact that I love having a box office manager. I mean, if anyone saw Benfica beat Real Madrid 4-2 the other day, that was so Mourinho. It's unbelievable. The goalkeeper going up there and scoring a header for them to qualify on goal difference in the final minute with it. I mean, I love having a box office manager. I do. But I'm beyond that now. I just want a manager that's giving us results on the pitch, giving me something to cheer about.
I just want a serious guy coming in. I need a serious guy that's coming in, that's elite, that knows the job, and he'll get the respect from the players, and he can just put his philosophy in place, but also embrace the United way.
Yeah,
and sort of blend it all together.
To finish the show, right? Like, because I need to rush off. I hear my daughter crying downstairs. The wife needs help. I don't know if you guys could hear that over the mic. I apologize. Don't worry, my wife is with her. It's not just me doing a video. My daughter's downstairs. She must be getting her ready for bath, and she's just gone absolutely ballistic, you know. So I need to head off. But you're right. Liverpool and City might be looking for new managers, and there is a window here for who's next. You know, and you'd have to argue Arsenal are next, and if we're not careful, they could dominate for a long time. They could dominate for a long time. So, you know, Liverpool getting a new manager is not going to be easy. City getting a new manager is not going to be easy for them to challenge anymore either. There's a gap there. There's a gap there to challenge. There's a gap there to kick on. There's a gap there to put Arsenal Football Club in their place, right? and we need to make the right decision. And if it is Carrick, I'll back him all the way. And it can only be Carrick if he's earned the position, is what I'm saying. And listen, I hope he does, Dan.
Yeah, and just really quickly, that if it is Carrick, he's got to show us as well, because he's not shown us that this season, because he can't, that he can handle multiple competitions, because we can't be Manchester United and be knocked out of FA Cup straight away and Carabao Cup and not in the Champions League and stuff like that. We've got to be fighting on all four fronts. And that's another thing. That's the difficulty, being able to do all four of those things.
Yeah, this is it as well. Like, the bar was low for when Le Mans came in for Onana. Yeah. The bar was low. Now we think Le Mans is fantastic, but the bar was low. The bar's been low for Carrick coming in for Amorim. And what I mean by that is 1 game a week, not having too much on.
More time on the training pitch.
Yeah. And you know what? He's doing the right things and he's getting the right results.
Yeah, you can't hold that against him.
The bar was so low. The bar was so low with Onana, with Amorim. It's a similar scenario for me. Yeah. And I just got to be careful with my emotions, although this is the emotion. That we don't get carried away with Carrick and we stick in the lane of we need a serious manager next. Because I'm not being funny. If we got a Luis Enrique, if we got a Don Carlo, if we got a Thomas Tuchel, and Slot leaves Liverpool, Pep Guardiola leaves Man City, we could kick on big time. Big time. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Guys, we have to wrap it up there. It's already been an hour, 35 minutes. Dan, thanks for coming as always. Please go and subscribe to Dan Talks United. It's always great having a show with you, man. And listen, it's been great the last 3 weeks. It's been nothing but positivity, although I always find negativity, right? But I'm going to keep doing it, Dan.
Balances out. I'll tell you
why. Everything I say, every player I seem to knock performs and does fantastic. So long may it continue, me calling people flops, me saying that Brazilians are bloody rubbish, right? Because I just want to see more of this, mate. I want to see more of this.
Oh, you've got to see the Cunha dance, definitely.
The new oh mate, this is the dance move, the surf move. I can't do it. I tried to do it the other day. My missus says I look shocking. White boys can't dance, as they say. But I got to full screen it. We need to see more of this, guys. If we see more of this fella, I mean, could he be to finish the show there, could Cunha be our Eric Cantona in 2026? Could he launch us, propel us into the league title? Catch you on the next ones, guys. It's been emotional. In the emotional
See you later, people.
See you soon. Boo.